So what did Relli first do with the videos he made of the shell casings? Did he go to the police? No, he didn't contact the police. Instead, he sent them to Rocky and Rocky's manager and said, I'm going to be rich. That was his first thought.
It is.
I'm going to be rich.
We had it first.
I mean, here's someone who basically claims he was shot. That was the initial story, shot. He miraculously recovered the evidence from the crime scene that the police couldn't find. And he didn't go to the police. His first thought was, I'm going to be rich. Well, the evidence will show you that Relli committed perjury without those messages. He actually texted a message meaning, I'm going to be rich. He said, I'm going to be itch at one point. But he said, oh, I didn't mean rich when I said itch. I meant irritable. Okay, because itch and irritable is not very close. And when you type in itch, sometimes it's both itch and irritable. It's just one line after the other. He testified at an early hearing in this case, under oath. And you'll learn shortly after sending those messages to Rocky and to his business manager, you're going to learn that Relli sent another message to his business partner, to Relli's business partner, saying, I want to get this nigga's money. That's what was on his mind, not his near-death experience. Oh my God, how did he even survive that scrape on his knuckles? Not running to the police to arrest the culprit. No. Texting everyone, I'm going to get rich, I'm going to get his money. That's all he cared about. The evidence will show you that Relli fabricated these shell casings in order to extort Rocky, right from the outset, right from the get-go. And why did he think he could get away with that? Why? Because Relli didn't know that the police had already returned within minutes of the sounds and the incidents there and searched the scene. He didn't know that. Of course, they didn't find anything. We talked about that already. There was no actual shooting because there was no real gun. There was no evidence of a shooting because there was no real gun. And that's why that same night, in response to Relli's text to Rocky texted him, if I shot you, go to the police. They didn't show you that text, though. Showed you a bunch of texts between Relli and Rocky that night. They didn't show you that text. Rocky saying, go to the police. Yeah, because someone who really shoots someone and is guilty said, yeah, go to the police. Rocky texted him at that point. But of course, he didn't go to the police. That was not on his mind. You'll hear what he thinks of the police, this Relli. After his immediate efforts to extort Rocky failed, because he just wanted to get rich, he wanted to get that, his money, as he said. When it didn't work, he said, okay, I better go get a civil lawyer. After he tried on his own to get the money, let me go get a civil lawyer to try and get money out of Rocky. And you'll hear that because the civil lawyer would only take his case if he went to the police. Relli then went to the police 2 days later. 2 days after the incident, he finally goes to the police. And you'll learn of the inconsistent statements he made to the police because he couldn't keep his story straight. It is all over the place. You'll hear this ridiculous claim like the one about him being shot. You saw that picture. The supposed proof of him being shot, the knuckle scrapes, the superficial knuckle scrapes across his knuckles, which are consistent with him doing what you see in the video, attacking somebody, attacking pills. That did not feel pleasant. But attacking somebody and punching and scraping the knuckle on the ground. What kind of bullet does that? Hits one knuckle, bounces down, hits another knuckle, and bounces down again. I mean, it's ridiculous that he said that. He got shot. That was his first story. Now you hear that back off way off that thing now. You'll hear his ridiculous claim about that injury, that it was a gunshot wound that required medical attention, he first said. Of course, now the DA just said to you, oh, you don't have to decide at the end of this case if you got shot or not. You don't have to decide. Don't worry about it. Not that easy. Not that easy. You do have to decide because his credibility is at issue here. You have to decide if he was lying, if he was embellishing, if he was making up a story to get money. So if he says he got shot, and you find he didn't get shot, you do have to decide that. Relli at this very moment has a civil lawsuit against Rocky, seeking millions of dollars. Right? $30 million
There you go.
for the knuckle scrape.
There we go. Joe Tacopina just said it. Michael Bryant.
It's not my money. Not just.
We had it first that he was going to advance $30 million.
He also claims that he has a permanent disability. Permanent disability from the knuckle scrape.
That's a boom. Yeah, Missy, you want to retweet our tweet from yesterday, today, saying we had that exclusive.
Disability. You're going to see an
Uncovered it.
Instagram video of him with that permanent disability, showing his manicured hand, turning it around with his Rolex watch on. Permanent disability. It is offensive to a different level. He even claims he went from necessary medical treatment for his injury to a hospital, but not here in LA, where he was shot. He waited all the way from California to New York to go to a hospital many days later, after getting a civil lawyer and being told by the detective in this case, really, you should go to the hospital, not to make sure you're not going to die, not to make sure you don't lose use of your hand, not to make sure your knuckles heal. The detective said you should go to the hospital for this case. The detective, it's going to be undisputed, told Relli to go to the hospital for this criminal case. Do you think they're trying to build a case here? Is that what we do? We instruct victims to go to the hospital to make it look better? Those scrapes are no more proof of a real gunshot than those shell casings that the 7 officers did not find are. And what else did the police not find after Relli turned in the shell casings over to them, finally, after walking around with them God knows where for 2 days? What else did the police not find? You'll hear that the police, despite examining them for fingerprints, they didn't find Rockies on them. Because bullets, metal, capture prints. So if someone loads a bullet into a gun, got prints on that. Not Rockies. Now, the shell casings apparently had no fingerprints on them whatsoever. As if someone who claimed to find them after the fact wiped them completely clean. And what else wasn't found on those shell casings? Rocky's DNA. They took samples, the police did, of Rocky's DNA for the purpose of comparison. They took his DNA to compare with the bullets. Zero. Nothing. Never connected to the shell casings. As I mentioned, he was licensed to carry and possess firearms. You'll learn that he legally possessed firearms, which in fact were recovered from his home. So that whole bunch of pictures, he had firearms legally in his home. No problem. Police did a search, they recovered them. No problem with the police. The evidence will show you that none of those firearms recovered were 9mm caliber. Because he didn't have one. You'll learn that the 9mm caliber of the shell casings that Relli claims to have recovered from the scene are exactly the type of gun that Rocky didn't possess or own. You'll hear, and you heard from their opening, that there was a single magazine containing 9mm ammunition in his home. And you'll learn that belonged to his manager, Lou Levy, who will tell you, who will be here and testify why that was his. He also was licensed. Most importantly, though, when it comes to this little issue of the bullets recovered by Relli, that didn't have Rocky's fingerprints, that the police missed, and all that stuff, and the 9mm ammunition recovered in Rocky's home that one magazine, 5 bullets, whatever. Most importantly, you're going to learn that the shell casings were completely different than the ones that Relli said he found at the scene gate.
Hey, Bob.
Completely different.
Sorry to hype.
You'll learn that the 9mm ammunition
Joe Tacopina
in Rocky's home was a
30
brand
million.
called Sig Sauer, and the Relli shell casings that he claimed
I
to found at
just
the scene
tweeted it if you want to repost it.
were a brand called Federal. I'm going to show you the difference. I'm going to show you the pictures. This is the one in the house. That's that magazine that they recovered with a few bullets in it. That was Lou Levin's. This says Sig. Whoa. I can't see nothing now, so can you scoot back a little bit? SIGSAUGER or something like that.
Hey, Bob, can you hear me?
How was it say?
Yeah.
What?
Thanks for stopping by. We know you got
Sig,
it.
SIG.
Thanks, man.
Sig Luger. The ones at the scene are these from Relli. FC, which stands for Federal Cartridge. Completely different brand, completely different bullet. Those are the ones from the house.
The judge so
belongs to someone else.
overruled Lewin so much, Joe's getting to make a closing
Those are the
statement.
ones that Relli claims to have found at the scene. They're different bullets altogether.
The bullets are different, the $30 million,
So
the
much for that big
cartridges weren't
reveal
there, the police
on the
search.
opening. They didn't show you that, no. They didn't show you the comparison of the bullets. Just the
No
magazine.
wonder they offered 180 days.
Different bullets. In the end, you'll see that all the objective evidence in this case relied on by the prosecution to support a shooting rises and falls, I mean falls, on the word and credibility of Relli, who is a proven criminal and perjurer. Those shell casings he claims to have found, the superficial scrapes he claims is gunshot wound. The video himself that he even claims he can't make out clearly. We have to rely on his rendition of only. Because without his rendition, you get nothing from any of this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your job to win this trial to evaluate the evidence. To look at every single piece of evidence they present to you, the prosecution, and ask yourself, does that pass the smell test? I remember Mr. Lewin, every time he stood up in jury selection, said, possibility? Did we say possibility? No, no possibility. No possibility. The word possible is not part of this trial, he said to you. Remember that. This case is not about possible. It doesn't pass the smell test, and you have to ask yourself that. Does it? Or do you have a doubt about a piece of evidence that's really the focus here when you consider the charge in this case? There are 2 charges. The first charge is assault with a semi-automatic fire gun in this case. No, actually I said that wrong. It's an assault with a semi-automatic firearm. That's the first count. Both counts of that, actually. The first one is the altercation in front of the parking garage. The second for the altercation around the corner. 2 counts. To prove those 2 counts, they must prove beyond a reasonable doubt 2 things. 1, Rocky possessed a real gun.
No, this sounds like respect.
Oh,
7,
the judge will give you the law. He's right. The judge will give you the law at the end of this, what needs to be proved.
that's 7. 7 or 8, I can't tell.
Well, I made the objection, is anything right or?
And you were right too on that one. They won't be able to meet that burden in this case. When the judge gives the law, you'll see the 2 things that have to be proved. It's not even close. I'm higher. The objective evidence in this case, independent of Relli, just is not there. There are no gunshot wounds, no evidence of actual gunfire as officers at the scene, no shell casings found at the scene. When the police arrived,
This sounds again like pure argument.
evidence will show you there was no property damage, no fingerprints,
It's like
no
number 8.
linking Rocky to anything. And that's because what Rocky had was a prop gun. Either that, or he's the luckiest man to ever walk the face of this earth. What is real in this case wasn't a gun, but Relli's attempt to extort Rocky. That is real. Out of millions of dollars, and using this criminal case as a windfall in his civil one. And folks, and going back to what I first said to you, my promise, it's a promise to you. And I wouldn't be doing this so emphatically if I weren't sure.
That's all I need, is the property.
Number 9.
You will see, the evidence will show you hard evidence
We're up to
of
9,
an
Michael
extortion
Bryant.
in this case,
You're not there.
and perjury to try and cover it up. Hard evidence of an extortion in this case, the evidence will show you, and perjury to try to cover it up. The evidence will show you Relli's understanding in that regard, that if Rocky's found guilty here, he automatically has liability in the civil case and gets money. Lots of
No,
money.
that's absolutely.
Number 10.
Intriguing
Relli's
story.
understanding.
Counsel continues.
Stop.
to make whatever
Stop.
objection-
No speaking objections. Stop. Disregard anything about the consequences of whether Mr. Mayers is or is not convicted in this case. The consequences have no bearing on any decision that you have to make, and you're going to be given a jury instruction to that effect.
Thank you. Anyway, it's been Relli's NDA from the start. You're going to hear some of the absolute worst things come out of his mouth when it comes to this case, this criminal case, I mean, and how much he truly cares about this case and what he was willing to do to this case for money. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is over. You'll see that Rocky Mayers, they said Rocky's innocent. He's not only not guilty, he's innocent. And when we stand up here for our closing arguments in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about how the evidence shaped up. You'll see that for Relli, it was never about justice, ever. It's about a man seeking a profit from a fabricated narrative, using false.
I didn't hear. Read back,
It's about a man seeking profit from a fabricated narrative.
Michael Bryant, while you're away, 10 objections. 2 of them were sustained. I think I won my
Show
over-under.
that Rocky has absolutely nothing to hide here. He's a man.
Michael Bryant,
evidence will show
while you're
you
away,
he's a
10
man
objections.
with success through passion, knowledge, and hard work. He stands in stark contrast to this fellow who will see Kate stand next week and lie to you over and over again, trying to destroy Rocky for his own financial gain. He's a parasite who wants you to help him get his payday. But ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this case, after all you've seen and heard, all the evidence and cross-examination, all the things I promised you today, I will ask at your hands for a verdict of not guilty for Rocky Mayers. It's the only verdict consistent with justice. It is the only verdict consistent with fairness.
10 objections and 11th one
I want to take a
attempted.
10-minute break, and I want counsel to remain in place. Folks, please be outside the courtroom doors at 10 minutes before 3. And please don't discuss the case. Amongst yourselves or anybody else.
So, Michael, can you hear me? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Hey,
Michael Bryant.
yeah, I was
10
counting.
objections,
I counted 10 objections and $30 million. I
10
counted.
objections. The 11th one was attempted at the very end when he called the alleged victim a parasite, but didn't go through. Joe kept barreling right
That's all
through
right.
it. All right.
that.
I think I won the over-under. 2 of them were sustained. Okay. One was on the.
Well, and the judge didn't blow up until the very end. So
Well, yeah, that was he's going to go to jail, for the rest of his life or something like that. And then there was one earlier that was sustained. But I think what do I win for my over under? Do I get a mug? Do I get another mug?
No, you already got 2
Nothing?
mugs. That's it. That's the limit.
Nothing?
So I'm guessing. I mean, it's only they got an hour and 20 before the end of the day there. So I'm guessing, unless there's some law in motion, or the judge just says, "Hey, it's Friday. Let's start in fresh with witnesses on Monday." Unless that happens, I think we're going to see a witness.
Well, except that I think the prosecution may come back. You know, they got battered down on the first 6, so they kind of like were the first 7, and they were then kind of like quiet, and then they started at the end. But I'll tell you what, I think Joe Tacopina got to give a closing statement. Now I know some of our viewers were impressed because part of it was you couldn't hear very well. You couldn't hear the
Yeah,
prosecution
it's
well
very
either.
echoey. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is standing behind a lectern. You stand on a podium. He's standing behind a lectern. It's a very strange system. You heard that there, but he got everything in there, and we had it right. We told you yesterday that we had bombshell testimony that was going to come out, a bombshell opening statement that $30 million double extortion scheme tried twice, according to what the defense would advance to extort money from, and it was a money grab. We told you that yesterday, and what were we asked instead? Oh, you mean, are you going to be talking about the starter pistol? No, because sometimes, as I just tweeted, little podcasts can get it right and can get scoops and can get sources and can get and go after stuff to try to find what a defense will be. And we had it right. And there it was. And Joe, I think he brought it home, right?